Okay, today my favorite subject, Medicare. Guess what? Turning 65 July 2nd, 1958. So I've been offering Medicare supplements. I started in 1976. I was 18 years old, calling on people born in 1911 and before, offering them Medicare supplements. So I've been doing this a while, and I'm finally like one of those people on the other side of the table. So I thought that's kind of fun. And we're going to talk about Medicare Simplified today. I want to bring Tom on and talk about why we're doing this video.
Yeah, I mean, I think Medicare is complicated. You get a lot of mail. Hans, you can speak to this. You get a lot of mail when you're turning 65. You get a lot of calls. There's ads on TV. Trying to make sense of what it all is hard, and it's not real straightforward. Once you understand it, it's not that complicated. But you start mixing pieces together and confusing them. And so, what we want to do today is really simplify it, walk you through sort of the main differences between the ways you can go and just try to help simplify this a little bit. We have other videos that are going to dig deeper than we're going to do today, so go watch some of those if you have questions. But happy birthday, Hans! You're joining the ranks of our clients now. So
Thank you. Thank you. And it's going to be nice to have this stuff when I go to the doctor. And speaking of going to the doctor, one of the things I'm sure that some of you watching this video have experienced is, Mr. Scheil, have you had any falls in the last 90 days? And I'm like, let me check. That's kind of a new question. Kind of fell over when I was playing golf one time, hitting the ball down by the lake. And then I'm at the grocery store the other week and just kind of wandering up there in my tennis shoes and shorts. I think my hair was a little messed up. I had run down to the grocery store, get some things in the morning, and the lady says to me, "Would you like some assistance with your groceries to your car, sir?" And I'm like, they kind of get this different tone of voice. And I said, "No, I believe I can handle it just fine, but thank you very much. I'll let you know." So there's a lot of kind of funny things that start happening when you start turning 65. So what we're wanting to do today is simplify this. We at least want to be able for you, if you're watching this video and Medicare has confused you, or you're confused about parts of it, um, what we're going to try to do is get you to put all the different parts and plans and advantage plans and Part D and dental plans and Medicare supplements. We're at least going to be able to, that you're going to be able to put them on a map and say, what are we talking about here? So a couple of months ago, I signed up for Original Medicare. That's what this card is about. So if you're already on Medicare, you've been through this before me. If Medicare's coming up for you, we have other videos that go in length about when you should sign up, how you're going to sign up, what parts you're going to sign up. And that doesn't have anything to do with the insurance or the supplemental insurance. It's just purely Medicare. Is you need to get this card before you can even buy these other forms of insurance. And unfortunately, a lot of consumers, they get their information about this, about signing up for Medicare and Medicare itself, from the people trying to sell them one of these or people trying to sell them one of these, which is exactly what I'm doing today. But I'm going to start on Original Medicare. And that Original Medicare consists of Part A and Part B. Part A is the hospital, Part B is the doctor and outpatient. You have to pay for B. In 2023, it's $164.90 a month, unless you have a high income. If you have a high income, you're going to pay much more than that. That's called IRMAA. We have other videos, many other videos under Medicare on the Cardinal Advisors channel that you can get down and get some details. We just want to get across that Medicare itself is right here. Everybody that gets Medicare, that turns 65, or they're beyond 65 and they delay, sooner or later, you're going to have to start here with the original A and B. And that's what it's going to say on this card. Okay. Now, once you're there, very few people do we recommend, or never do we recommend, that somebody would get original Medicare and they just stay there. And they're going to rely on Medicare from the government to cover all their medical expenses. And the main reason for that is the Part B is 80/20. So Medicare pays 80% of the bill. You get reimbursed. You have to pay out of your pocket 20%. And there's no cap on the 20%. There's no maximum annual limit. So you could have several $100,000 of bills and pay 20% of them. That's kind of scary. So in some form or another, people purchase a Medicare supplement policy. So this lower box here is what you add to this. That's why there's pluses there. And we have plenty of videos where we break down whether you're going to buy a G plan or an N plan or a high deductible G, or what the prices are in the different states. I mean, this generally is going to cost you $100 to $200 a month, more if you're in New York, maybe a little more than 200 if you're in Florida and a few other places. But generally, that's a pretty good price range. And it is going to fill in the gaps. All the deductibles and copayments, or most all the deductibles and copayments, are going to be paid by your Medicare supplement. So when you have these two things together, you're in really good shape. And it means that you can go to any doctor anywhere in the United States that accepts Medicare. That's why I've done this route, is because if I get seriously sick, I want to go to a research hospital. I want to go to the best folks, and I don't want to be messing around with my insurance and seeing if they're in network, out of network. I make enough money that I can afford to pay this premium, and I want to have choice when I go to the doctor. So I'm going to be on this plus this. Now, I don't want to bias everything, and I don't want to say, oh, well, that's what Hans is doing, that's what I want to do. Well, let's think for a minute. Now, some people that come into us, some of my high school classmates who we're all turning 65, and so I got a lot of them calling me. They're going with this. So when you want to go this route, this Medicare Advantage route, okay, first of all, I want you to understand is you got to be here first. You're going to pay the $164.90 plus IRMAA monthly, no matter what. You're having to pay that. So that's either you've got to get on Part A and Part B. You've got to get one of these. And if you decide to look at Medicare Advantage, or you decide to do that, what you're doing is you're outsourcing, or you're privatizing your Medicare. You're going to a private insurance company like Humana, United Healthcare, Aetna, Blue Cross, Cigna. There's a whole list of them. And we offer these things too. And this Medicare Advantage, you're just turning this into this. And one of the big advantages is you pay no premium. A lot of these are zero premium. You don't have to pay the supplement premium. And that's why a lot of people do it, is they're thinking, well, gee, I just want Medicare and I don't want to pay extra. And so the government is essentially paying these people a check by your election so that you are going to get your benefits from them. Now, what I don't like about that, for me personally, is the networks. That's the biggest drawback, in my opinion, is you got to play the game by their rules. Over here, you just got to play by Medicare's rules. Now you got to play by the Medicare Advantage plan that you've selected. And what you get for that is, like I said, many times zero premium. You have lower deductibles and copays. You have an annual maximum out of pocket. So they have, like, it's never going to cost you more than X amount in a year for out of pocket expenses. So these have some real benefits to them, and they basically don't travel very well. So, they work real well. Like, I'm in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, North Carolina area. A Medicare Advantage plan here may not work so well if I spent the winter in Florida, or an extended stay, or I want to go to a research hospital. So they don't travel well. So everybody goes here with Medicare, and they either stay there and add a supplement, or they take what they've got here and they turn it into this, which is a Medicare Advantage plan. And then the Medicare Advantage plan includes a drug plan, or the Part D. This is this lower corner. So when you're over on this side, it's kind of an all-inclusive plan where you got some out of pocket, you got some networks, but you're not paying anything by the month, or it's very little. So that's not what I'm doing, by the way, but it's available, and we offer that to many people. So now I'm going to back up. You have the original Medicare, Part A and Part B. You purchase a supplement, you're good to go. You can go to any doctor that takes Medicare. Then what you're going to need to do is purchase a private standalone Part D plan for drugs. We can help you with that. And then in addition to that, if you want dental and vision, which is tacked onto this, you can purchase that privately and then have a little more control over what you buy and what the network, if there is one, on that. So, I mean, with that being said, I just want to hit on all we've really been talking today is about Medicare. We've also talked a little bit about taxes, because people come into me, I'm a financial planner, and this whole business of IRMAA is a big deal to people that have a higher income in retirement.
I want to I want to make a couple points, just to reiterate sort of what you said. Is the upper right hand corner the Medicare Advantage plan and the lower left hand corner the Medicare Supplement? That is an either or decision. That is binary. You cannot be on both. You're either going to one place or the other. And again, we would never recommend someone stay in that upper left hand corner. Just buying a original Medicare and doing nothing is not a good option. You need to do something. So it's either going to be Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement. We have other videos that go into more detail there. If you have questions, call us. I do want to bring up the show notes real quick just to show you what's going on there. You can find these at the link below of our video. They're also on our website. Again, it's just a picture of the board. And the second page is one of the pages pulled from the Medicare guide. It really does a pretty good job of summarizing a little bit what's on the board. But again, if you have questions or if you're turning 65, call us up where we're happy to walk you through the situation and see what makes the most sense for you.
So I thank you very much for listening. I'm Hans Scheil.
And I'm Tom Griffith.
Thank you.
Thank you.